The Simulacra Studios presents Trinity Continuum AEGIS for the first time. Saga of the Goat Part 3. If you've watched the Anima and Aeon games here at Onyx Path Con, you may have an inkling about what that goat's all about. But I am your humble story guide, Scott. My pronouns are he, him, and I have a lovely collection of players who will introduce themselves in any order they see fit. But we're going to start with Sean.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sean Creef. He, him are my pronouns. I am excited to be here. I am a not long time, but big time Trinity Continuum fan. This will be fulfilling me. I've played every game now except for Anima. So looking forward to be here. Do you want us to talk about our characters
Yeah,
yet?
go ahead and tell us a little about your character as well.
All right. My character his name is Talavus. I spent way too long looking for Bronze Age British names, and there's like 6 in record. But he is from what is in ages known as Albion. He was going to be a sort of a bard, but when the sky broke open and mystical comets fell, people from far and wide came looking for those, and drunk on their own power, they killed most of his village. So he took up the power himself and has been traveling the world, making sure that doesn't happen to other people with his rippling chest and magical spear. And he is an Olympian.
All right, and pass it to another player if you don't mind.
I'm going to pass it over to Maya.
Hi, I am Jess. My pronouns are they, them. I am a writer, editor, and writing consultant. I do all kinds of stuff, really. I've written for like D&D and Scarred Lands and done some editing for D&D and some other things. And I also podcast and stream with the D20 Dames, a family-friendly podcast that's available wherever podcasts are free. And I will be playing Maya, an oracle whose pronouns are they, she, who is a very somewhat reluctant oracle who one time just witnessed a mythological event of just a massive uh, mythological creature attacking a village and was like, that's messed up. Everybody saw that, right? But not a lot of people did somehow. And that was what led to their oracleness. And they're basically just trying to travel the world and figure out what the heck is going on and learn more about themselves and their powers.
Awesome. And pass it to someone else, please.
And I'll pass it to Ipsy.
Hello, I am Lee, also known as Ipsy. I don't really have anything to promote other than I'm really pretty and everyone should like me because I'm so pretty. Um, I will be playing Clymene. She is the mother of Phaeton, from the tragic Greek myth of the son of Helios who tried to ride the chariot of the sun across the sky and died. So she is an oracle who took her power from Helios as sort of a consolation prize for losing their son, and she's kind of bitter about it, and that's why she's an oracle. But she's also a mom, and I will go ahead and pass it on to Jim Bjorn.
Sorry, I have to pause. This one mom knows one neat trick: the power of the sun. Underworld gods hate her.
I am Jim. I am running our stream for the day. I do apologize for the very technological background. I forgot to change it in between games. That may or may not change when we take a bathroom break. I will be playing Bjorn, who is a bit of a berserker. They've been a fighter for hire, a pit fighter. They during their travels from arena to arena encountered basically Baba Yaga, who gave them a very, very delicious drink of something that gave them some powers. They are our only champion because I felt like we needed someone to be the only champion. But good luck trying to outshine him. He is very good at what he does.
Excellent. All right, so we open our story on the slopes of Mount Ossa. It is a small mountain to the south of Mount Olympus, and upon the slopes of that mountain, towards the direction of the sea, is a small village named Christos. And for one reason or another, our four heroes find themselves in this village. Perhaps on their way from one place to another, but they have found themselves in the local tavern, the local house of hospitality, when uh, deep in the dead of night, a great storm rolled in from the north and devastated many of the houses and buildings in this small village. This is not a prosperous village to start with. They mainly do trade in the herding of goats. But this village has been ravaged by this strange storm that seemed to roll down from the north and then break over the sea. So I would like to, starting in reverse order, let's start with Bjorn. I would like to have you describe your character physically and give us the reason why you were in this village at this particular time.
If I remember correctly from your description, the village was a coastal village, so
Yes.
I'm assuming, being a member of the Scandian Storm and a well-traveled individual, they probably arrived by boat somewhat recently, probably to, after hearing tales of the great fighting pits in Greece and Rome during those times, because my brain is bad at history, but I'm pretty sure they still had Colosseum and gladiator fights. Either way, fighting has always been entertaining. So they probably are here originally to do that. As far as their appearance, they are very stereotypically Norse. Tall, strong. They lack the blonde hair that is very typically attached to them. He is actually bald, like myself, with a beard. And he's generally very jolly, and he's kind of like a rippled Santa Claus almost. He is very happy and pleasant to be around for the most part, until he gets angry.
I see. And yeah, so I am presuming that you would stick around to help out in the aftermath of this storm, because there's any carriages coming this way is probably gonna have to stop by for one reason or another. So further travel plans are a bit stymied, which is true for all of you. But go ahead and pass it to the next person to get their description and the reason they were in this village at this very particular point in time.
Well, as you said, we're doing it in reverse order. That would make it Clymene?
Amini.
Clymene. Thank you.
All right, so please give us a description of your character and what's she doing here.
Well, Clemini, I would think, is like a very motherly figure. She's older than most people. Not quite Santa Claus or Mrs. Claus in age, more like
Early
very
30s.
sad. Huh? A what?
Early 30s.
No,
Up there.
older than that.
Oh,
We'll say she's a very sad cougar.
okay, all right.
Yeah, all right, there we go. That's on board. We'll say she's got dark hair. It's a little curly. She's got the gray hairs coming in, and she still wears the kohl around her eyes for mourning and her mourning clothes because she's very sad that her son died. And
She goth.
no, no, not yet. But given the opportunity, she will sack Rome at any chance. Yeah. So
God, that's really punching down at this point.
it really is. Or is it punching up or forward? I don't know. Anyway, she's got some celestial ancestry, but it's far, far back, and it has nothing to do with her current situation. But she's got the bronze skin of somebody who spends a lot of time out in the sun and waves.
All right.
Yes, she is very visibly not a goth.
Okay. And what was she doing in the village of Caristo when the storm came by?
Clymene is very focused on helping women, so she was probably helping a woman, other mothers, so that they do not suffer the same cruel fate of losing their children.
All right. And I suppose we will then pass that over to Maya. Please give us a physical description of your character and why were they in this village?
So Maya, whose full name is Sunamaya, but goes by Maya because it's easier. is a taller person who tends to just wear whatever fits in best with wherever they are. So they kind of like tend to blend into their whatever location they're in, partially because they are part of the Nauticoi Society college where they're interested in like exploration and discovery. So they're very well versed in travel and sort of blending in with wherever they end up, which is also why Maya is here. This is just sort of the latest stop on their journey. Probably this was more though of like a stopover on the way to somewhere a little bit bigger because there's probably not there probably wasn't anything specific about Gusto that was like, oh, I need to stop there for this,
Yeah.
at least based on what the little we've heard so far. So this is maybe like the port city.
Yeah, you were likely on your way to Olympus, which is kind of the biggest deal in the world right now.
Yeah, that makes sense. And they tend to wear their hair in like long braids with lots of charms tied in, partially as a uh, almost like trinkets that they've collected from the various places that they visited, and something that they will sometimes use when people hear they're an oracle and are like, "Oh, give me a prophecy," and they sort of fake it a little bit. They're like, "Oh, let me get these like charms," almost like throwing bones. And they're like, "Yes, here's your prophecy," and it's always nonsense.
All right, awesome. And I guess that leaves us with Sean, with Talvius. Please describe him and what he's doing here.
So Talavus is he's a massive man. He's like 5'7". Um, he is originally he would have been somewhat pale, being from not as far north as Scandia, but darker in a way. It always rains in Albion. But he is lightly dressed because it's very hot here. Don't you guys? Aren't you guys hot?
Oh yes, of course.
He wears some simple linen armor he's found along his way. He is brownish-haired Caucasian man with a unkempt beard, only because it's hard to keep it when you don't have anything. And he is here because he trusts in the Force, and by the Force I mean destiny. I literally have a gift to guide me to adventure.
Well, that has done right. So, like I said, this village is pretty trashed. The people here, definitely who recognize oracles and the presence of an Olympian and a champion, would definitely beseech your aid in cleaning up and perhaps helping rebuild the buildings. They're asked of the oracle. Is there like we have this opportunity? Perhaps we can get our fields arranged in a more auspicious manner. So they're asking the oracles of their advice. And so yes, the people are pleading your assistance. And so presuming that you offer it, you are in town for at least a couple more days after this storm comes by. Am I right in my assumptions that you'd be here to lend a hand?
Yes, actually, I have a gift with the 7-day forecast.
Aha.
I am alert to any changes in the weather.
Yeah,
So
I will say this storm that came by completely eluded this particular gift of yours. It came
Yeah.
upon very sudden, which was a bit of a surprise to you.
Mm.
So what about the rest of you? Would you all be willing to lend these people your supernatural assistance?
Yes, my supernatural nature isn't super useful here, but I will do what I can. I'm very good at being helpful. I can lift things. I'm not, I'm no Heracles, but I'm sturdy enough. I did forget to mention that he's also very hot. I did take striking.
Okay.
But yes, Talvis will help out. He is uh, most of a general do-gooder. He's part of the College of Thetis, or sorry, the Order of Themis. He's all about justice and doing good in the world. So he will be helping to build things. If there's anyone injured, he has a special way of treating injuries, which is not always pleasant, but effective enough.
There were plenty of injured amongst the townsfolk, yes.
Yeah, and he's treats them all as battlefield injuries because that's all he knows how to do. So he will get that shoulder back into place, but it might not feel good.
What about Maya? Would she be sticking around in the aftermath of this?
Yeah, for something like this, Maya is willing to help. If nothing else, it'll be interesting to just sort of stretch their powers and see kind of what she can learn about herself and what this will like show them about the local culture and that sort of thing. In this case, Maya would not do the fake prophecy thing because it's not like some rando being like, Oracle, show me a prophecy. It's more like it's actual needed for something. So yeah, Maya would stick around and help wherever they can.
And what about Bjorn?
Bjorn is actually very good at building buildings. Bjorn will help.
Excellent. Okay, and you would also definitely have the opportunity to get to know one another. Power recognizes power as you are milling around the town, helping out there and then. So you would definitely come to be familiar with one another. And I would like for everyone to give me an empathy roll.
Does it relate to kindness in any way?
It does not particularly relate to kindness. And just to make a rules clarification, I'm assuming you're talking about a specialty that you have. So specialties work on skills that are not the one that they come from. So it would be like a persuasion roll when you're trying to be exceptionally kind to someone would apply the bonus for the specialty, but that's neither here nor there because it doesn't apply in the situation.
Well, it's also a role-playing question. So.
Oh, okay, no, fair enough. No, this is more you're trying. There's something going on in the village, and this is to try and pick up on it. So, Bjorn, you got one success.
Yeah, I got
You got one.
Assuming cunning was a decent attribute,
that would
be
be
able to pull of one. Calvus is not the most perceptive.
You're looking for 8s and aboves. Okay, so you got 3. So Climea, you pick up on this first. There about a day or so after the storm hits, there are rumors and kind of a sense of unease starting to come around the city, the town, and you're able to follow it to its source pretty quickly. Um, One of the local goat herds is uh, very upset, and apparently something has happened to one of his goats, and it has started to act very strangely. Um, and This has started to sort of ripple out through all the people. In addition to this terrible tragedy, people are whispering about a strange omen and, what should we do about this? And there's just a lot of talk about it and a lot of fear and uncertainty coming about it. And it's sort of starting to become kind of the bugaboo of, oh, did this devil goat bring the storm on us? And you sense the rising tide of maybe a wave of panic starting to well up in the village.
Then I would like to go to my fellow Idians. I don't know what the collective term is. I haven't read that deeply into the book.
Heroes, we'll say
Hero.
heroes.
Well, my fellow heroes. I will gather my fellow heroes to come together to investigate this goat and see what a goat. Yes, let us see what the omens portend for this goat.
Does the goat need to be taken to slaughter?
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't looked into it, but they are very concerned about the goat, and it seems to be impacting the greater community as a whole. So I believe we have an obligation, not only as heroes, but as members of this community, even temporarily, to assist these people.
Say no more. We will help.
So, assuming everyone goes along with it, it's a short ride out of town to this local herder's homestead, where he has kind of it's up on more on the slopes of the mountain than the village proper. Um, and you sort of come by and you pass a number of people coming to and from this homestead. And when you arrive, you are kind of greeted by this very frazzled young man who apparently is the head of the household here. And he sort of sees you trudging up, and he kind of shouts. He says, "No more for today. It has been enough. I have work to do. Please."
What's bothering you? We came to help with a rumor we heard about a goat.
Oh, yes, of course you're here for the goat. Everybody's coming to see it, the goat, to try and sacrifice the goat or to protect the goat. I'm going out of my mind. Oh, this goat. Why have the gods cursed me with this goat?
Why don't you tell me about it? It seems like there's a lot on your mind.
Give me a persuasion roll. For this man is quite out of sorts.
Does it involve kindness?
It would involve kindness. So you would get an enhancement on this roll for your
Okay.
specialty.
Would it be presence and persuasion?
Yeah, that seems about right.
All right. 1, 2. No, 1, 2.
Okay, and with the enhancement that becomes 3, and he kind of crumples at your wave of kindness and well intentions. He says, thank you for coming. Perhaps you can resolve this issue. It is beyond my wits' end. It is such a strange beast. Come, come. And he follows you around like the back of his little farm, where he's like made a special little like roped away pen for this one animal. And he says, "Oh, this was my father's favorite goat. He left me with it, and he demanded that I take special care of it. He even gave the darn thing a name, called it Otha. But it has been acting so strange since the storm. Please, please come see if you can determine anything about it and get it back to normal." Um, so he leads you around, and like I said, there's this roped away special pen where you see what at first glance seems to be a perfectly normal looking goat.
Hello, Otha.
What can you tell us what you mean by this goat acting strangely? Like what non-goat things is it doing?
Um, so like you look up when you turn your head when Talibus greets it, and then when you look back at the goat, it becomes immediately obvious what's weird about the goat. Uh, and like you confirm this by like looking away several and looking back several times. Every time you take your eyes off the goat and then look back at it, something has changed about the goat. Its horns are longer. Its fur is a different like thickness. It's got like a bum leg at one point, and then the other leg is crooked. Literally every time you look at the goat, something is different about it. So like it very quickly becomes incredibly unsettling to be around because it just fucks with your sense of object permanence.
But can we like investigate, see if we can figure anything out about just from like seeing it change constantly?
Yeah, if you want to give me either maybe a medicine roll or an enigmas roll,
Definitely
uh,
enigmas.
to kind of try and start to piece together the mystery of this strange goat.
Would that
Fiona does
be
not like
enigmas and maybe intellect?
Sure, that would be fine.
And Talibus would like to take a slightly different approach. He is going to try and think of any stories he knows about shapeshifting goats, because he's heard lots of them, but also not take his eyes off this thing.
So that would be a culture roll.
All right.
I got 3 for my
Enigmas.
enigmas intellect.
Okay, and is that Kume, is that from an enigmas roll as well, or
Yes, enigmas.
Bjorn, are you doing anything to contribute to this investigation?
Bjorn is not very good at this.
Okay, fantastic. How many did you get? Any successes, Talibus?
None.
None.
Even though I'm good at this one.
You've heard of tales of shapeshifters, but yeah, nothing special about goats. Kamea and Maya, you kind of put your heads together and uh, compare notes on your mystical training and powers, and yeah, you think this goat is definitely touched by the divine. that it is it is a goat of its essence seems to be one of possibility. That perhaps this goat could have been born with a different coat of fur at one point in its development in its mother's womb. Or all these like minor little changes and possibilities. Maybe it had an accident one day, but yeah, you think that this goat is just about the randomness of potential, and it's been touched by that sort of very mystic energy of changeability and the vagaries of fate that we can all walk down in our lives. And this seems to be sort of immersed in that river of change and possibility.
Can we determine where on the goat the divine has touched it?
It seems to be all over. Like knowing what everyone knows about ambrosia and sort of the source of powers, you're fairly certain that there may have been some ambrosia swept down from the north, and this goat just got a dunk of it. So
Show
it
me on the
seems.
doll where the divine touched you.
Yeah, so that seems to be like this seems goat seems to be, to your knowledge, it doesn't seem to be evil in any way. It's good tempered, if a little boisterous and loud. It definitely whenever it's mentioned or acknowledged, it will bleat heartily, and every now and then it tries to get out of its pen, but it doesn't seem to be malefic in any way.
So this goat that is now doing like weird changing goat things. But I mean, you haven't noticed it, and I'm talking to the farmer now. You haven't noticed it like do anything different other than like be weird as heck, right? Like it's just that like that's what's going on with it.
Yes, it has such a strange countenance, and it's so unsettling. If it were not for my father's love of this beast, I would have put it to slaughter and got it out of my mind. But I cannot go against the will of my father.
So it's possible that this is not like it. Is there has there been anything that makes you think that this goat's weirdness actually caused the storm, or is it just that like this goat is weird and also there was a scary storm?
He kind of like, great oracle, you would know better than I of such things. Do you think the goat caused the storm? Oh my, it caused the storm. Oh no, he brought this terror down upon us.
That's not what I was saying. For sure, that's not what I was saying.
He's like, "Oh, I don't, I know not then.
Bring it back. Focus.
But yeah, so yeah, that seems to be what's up with this goat.
Scott, since I'm a man of many languages, I'm trying to speak to Otha in various tongues. I'm assuming he just responds in goat.
He responds in goat. The goat does not seem to speak any human language, but he will talk to you.
I'm a polyglot, not a polygoat.
Poly Polygoat. Yeah, it will. It's a little weird in that like it does seem to be conversing with you. Like it will respond to you as like in the cadence of a person, but it's all just "Mah, mah,
Meh.
and it headbutts the fence post a little bit.
I had the
Otha,
goat. Gently.
Mhm.
Otha, if you understand what I'm saying, put one that's not right. Leg up
Hoof,
on the
hoof.
fence. Hoof, thank you. We all saw that, right?
The goat, I believe, understands us.
You are to agree with
Okay.
this assessment.
Otha, do you know what happened to you? Why your whole deal is weird now?
Can you just put the paw on the hoof on the fence if you do know what's going on?
It just kind of like it puts its paw down, it puts its hoof down, and just kind of like digs in the ground a little bit, and it, like it,
So,
does
so you don't know why this is happening to you, Otha.
that.
Okay. Do you want this to be happening to you? Are you okay with what's going on?
Its eyes go out of focus, and like you clearly get the look of someone being asked an existential question that doesn't have the capacity to grapple with.
Yeah, Maya kind of like nudges Clymene and is like, yeah, we deserve that one. It is still a goat at the end of the day. I feel like I was getting too into this.
Okay. No, it's okay.
He's not a goat. He's our friend.
Is it a
I mean, there's no
goat?
reason he can't be both.
Or is it like the possibility of goats that could be sort of breaks the containment of our construction of gender?
They, them, goat. Who knows?
The goat is a goat. Either way, we need to figure out how to give it solid form. Otherwise, someone
But-
is probably going to kill it.
But it's a necessity to form it into a constant if the goat is in and of itself okay with what's going on with it.
Well, I think what our blondish friend, or our friend from the north, is saying is that someone will kill it if we do not save it.
Of course, protection is always the goal. But is that protection in fixation, or is there other options? Could we perhaps deliver it to one of the gods? Maybe they would know.
I don't know that Goat Dad over here would let us take his goat to someone else.
Please take the goat.
Oh, never mind then.
Oh, okay then.
If you
Okay.
promise to safeguard it and keep it well and let it live a natural life, then I believe my father wishes would be fulfilled. But I do not want this goat on my shoulders any longer.
I think better than that, we can promise you this goat will have a supernatural life, which is even better. The word super is right there.
Please do not muddle the matter further.
You
I do
mentioned
not
goat on
I do not want
shoulders.
this interesting life.
You mentioned goat on shoulders, and Bjorn goes up and picks up the goat and puts the goat on his shoulder.
The goat bleats joyfully.
Okay, the goat is okay with this situation.
Yeah, who wouldn't want to get picked up and flown around by a big, strong man?
The goat will pee on you.
And it does be.
Bjorn has
So should
no
we-
brothers.
Should we maybe try to like trace the ambrosia back to see if there's some sort of sign from maybe where this like the storm / the ambrosia came from, and see if that gives us any clues to why the storm happened or why this thing with the goat happened?
I will say you are on a very productive line of thought, given that Olympus is sort of renowned to be like the largest source of ambrosia, and that the storm did roll in from the north. You kind of put some things together and like, yeah, the storm probably did come down from Olympus, and that seems to track that bringing it back to Olympus may be a great way of finding some answers and doing right by this goat.
Perhaps we should take a mild and gentle hike up the Great Mount Olympus, or at least get closer to the source.
Yeah. Well, it is to the north. It is many miles. There is a seaward road that you could certainly take up there, but it will be a journey of many, many days.
Yeah, I lean forward and sort of whisper to Clymene, how far is Olympus?
It's a few days away. Could I call upon my patron potentially to get a ride?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and make a path roll. Which the
Okay.
way of doing that is you take your rating in your path. From which you get that edge. Actually, no, you have a patron. No, that's
I have a
different thing.
patron.
Yeah, you have a patron. Yeah. So how would you get in contact with your patron?
Um,
Go yell at the sun.
gonna write.
Email.
Yeah, I'm gonna just like write. By the way, since you missed your last child support payments, just
We're here contacting you about your car's extended warranty.
your chariot's extended warranty. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you're like making an entreaty. Okay.
Yeah, I'll just write a little note on a piece of parchment, like, "Dear baby daddy, could use a ride to the house. Love and kisses, Clymene," and just eat it into a fire.
So yeah, there's as a night, yeah, you build a small fire, let the smoke go up to the sky, and shortly after, maybe about 20 minutes, as you guys are just kind of like milling around and pondering this goat and what you might do, you begin to hear the sounds of a horse uh, uh, and the sound of wheels being pulled up the road to this goat herder's farmstead. This horse and carriage sort of like comes around the bend. Horse and cart comes around the bend. There's a young woman who's driving the cart, and in the back of the cart is an older man wearing kind of I would say like a scholarly kind of robe. He's got a bald pate, big, very. You know what I'm talking about when I say an old Greek philosopher. There's a look to him.
Toga.
Yeah, toga. And he uses sort of riding in the back of the cart, and he kind of, when the cart comes to a stop, he goes and kind of shakes himself awake. Looks like he was taking a little nap. And he kind of gets out of the cart, looks around, looks to the goat, and just sort of strokes his beard a little bit, and he says, "Ah, destiny. Greetings. My
The goat's name is
is."
actually Otha, not Destiny. Just put that out there. Go on.
He kind of turns to the Otha. What an odd name. Anyway, I see that Providence and the Divine have gathered people here. I had heard rumors. I've heard that a storm came down. We were tracking it, and I was wondering where it might have landed. Uh, I'm Lynx. I am a member of the Society of the Lion, uh, and I am not. I say that I am not overly surprised to see a collection of those touched by power and destiny here at this destination that I have come to.
I'm sorry, old man, I was not listening. What is your name?
My name is Lynx.
Lynx?
Yes, I.
Like a chain.
I was thinking sausages.
Oh, that's even
I was thinking the cat.
Oh,
Yes,
okay. Yeah.
Bjorn was thinking of the large cat that sometimes appears.
Cats are very small,
Oh, no,
except
none
for
of this.
lions.
It is simply my name. But no, I had come investigating the storm that sprung up suddenly from our mountain and made its way down the coast. And apparently there has been some oddity as a result of it, and you have all been called here as well. This is very auspicious.
Yeah, so Link, you said you were tracking the storm. Is there anything that you can tell us about it? Any useful information about what was so unusual about this storm aside from it just seeming to crop up out of nowhere to the point that not even the oracles saw it coming?
Yes, that was very odd. None of our oracles or the oracles from the Delphic League were able to detect it. We did see it when it first appeared. It appeared at the peak of the mountain, and then quickly came rolling down. We tried to measure it. We tried to track its path, and eventually we determined that it would be coming down by Mount Osa. And I dispatched myself to come and see what might have come of it. So it's very odd, very strange. Normally such things are quite predictable, but I suspect that perhaps something at the peak of the mountain happened, something perhaps of divine providence to bring this storm into such sudden existence.
At the
But
peak of
Yeah.
I'm
Olympus?
very curious. It seems I did not detect any strangeness along the road. It seems that the brunt of it has befallen this town, and perhaps, and he kind of points his walking stick. Perhaps this fine fellow here. You have, of course, noticed how odd it is.
Bjorn
Yes.
is carrying it.
Indeed. He says,
Is it still changing while it's on
"Yeah,
Bjorn?
every single time you take your eyes off us and look back, something is different."
But just like, can he feel the changes?
It seems to be more keyed off of like direct perception.
Okay.
Like yeah, it's strange. Like when you're carrying it, you don't detect anything strange. Like the fur doesn't change when you're detecting, but like visual things will change. He says, "Well, if I know my the way these sort of things goes, I would suspect trouble on the way back to Olympus. I would bring this back to my chapter house, that we may study it if there are no objections to that. And I would certainly appreciate the assistance of stalwart heroes such as you seem to be along the path. I am sure that dangers will find themselves to come to us. Would that be amenable to you?
Yes.
Very well, very well. Well, it may be a little tight, but I think my cart can fit all of us.
Wait, whoa, Lynx. Not everyone has agreed.
No, certainly. Do all of you assent to this? I would certainly share whatever knowledge we have, since you came upon this fine creature first. But I do believe the best place to look into it is our chapter houses up on the slopes of Olympus.
Since what we want to investigate is potentially at the peak of Mount Olympus. This is sort of on the way, so I'd be down to stop and see what they can figure out and let us know, so we kind of know what we're heading into.
Well, the peak is a very dangerous place to travel to, so we will have to discuss that perhaps on the way, perhaps when we reach the slopes of Olympus. But I'm certain we can come to an arrangement.
Bjorn has made friends with the goat, so Bjorn will make sure that the goat is protected.
Excellent. Good, good, good. Well then,
We have made an agreement that the goat will be unharmed.
I wouldn't dream of it. Such a thing is a divine curiosity. Why would we want to bring harm to such a thing? We must discover its mysteries and learn from it.
Does he seem genuine?
Give me an empathy roll. And give me a moment to let my cat out. She snuck in.
Just the one.
Just one success. Okay. He seems on the up and up. You know, maybe a little cagey, maybe a little little esoteric and off kilter a bit, but you don't detect any overt deception.
Okay, then I'll go with. I will agree.
Excellent, excellent. Well, perhaps this fine young goat herd will provide us with some supplies for our journey. I had to pack up fairly quickly to reach the end of the stormhead, and kind of looks somewhat expectantly at the young man, who kind of catches the vibe and says, "Yes, I have some road supplies for you if you would do me the favor of taking this strange thing off my hands." Hmm. Good, good. So you are loaded up with supplies, and you are given access to the cart, and a journey begins. Would anyone want to do anything before the cart leaves town and starts heading north?
Do
Go into some
do I feel like we have enough things?
Sorry.
Sorry. People are talking to each other. Let's go. Sean, what were you saying?
I was saying, do I feel like we have enough supplies to make it that far? And if so, then I'm good.
Yeah, you think? I mean, you might need a resupply at a tavern or a way station along the way, but you have enough for a couple of days' travel at the very least. And what were you saying, Maya? Sorry, Clemia?
I have a safe house. So could we perhaps stop at the safe house and resupply if we need to?
Yeah, absolutely. That's totally available. You just happen to have a little way off the coastal road that you can rest and resupply in a few days.
Yeah.
Um, bef- Before we head out, I'd like to send word to my patron that's just sort of like, I don't need you right now, but we're about to partake on a potentially very dangerous journey. So here's our path that we're headed on. If you don't hear from me within like X amount of days, send backup.
Okay, all right. So the next, sorry, and Bjorn, did you have anything you wanted to?
They just wanted to take a quick dip in a river to get the goat pee off.
Yeah. There's a mountain stream that you can all freshen up in.
Just something to not reek of urine the entire trip.
All right. So yeah, so we'll do a bit of a travel montage. You guys get on the road. You have supplies in hand. You're able to share stories of your adventures along the way. Um, and as you're coming, you sort of everyone slowly kind of begins to get the impression that um, uh, Lynx Lynx is kind of a he gives the impression of being kind of a big deal. He starts talking about like names of very famous, well-known heroes and people that he's associated with. He talks about business and interactions with the peak of Olympus, since that's a topic that comes up. So you may not know, but like you by a day's travel, you begin to realize this guy's probably pretty high up in the Society of the Lion. Um, so like I say, a day or so goes by of travel. And does anyone have any sort of like danger sense or premonitions of violence or something like that powers? All right. Do you need to roll for that, or is that like an automatic thing?
I have the edge danger sense,
Ah, okay, gotcha.
and I also have behold the serpent, which allows me to see through illusions.
Gotcha. Okay. So as the night is coming, you're kind of getting close to your safe house, um, along the coastal road north. You begin to kind of. How does your danger sense manifest? How does it warn you of danger?
Uh, let's say that anything I see that could potentially be dangerous is outlined in like a golden halo,
Okay.
because
So
that's Helios warning
yeah,
me.
absolutely.
So
So as you're traveling along the road, you begin to see murky shapes moving off in the distance, being starting to become outlined by that glow.
Mhm. I will, of course, turn to uh, the rest of the heroes and sort of gesture towards the closest one that I can see. Does anyone else see that? I believe that may be trouble that lies ahead.
Do I see it?
You stare out into the distance, and yeah, you think you see figures moving kind of along the edge of the road. Um, uh, uh, mm, it kind of you'd say maybe an ambush kind of position. Now that you've been pointed out to you.
Okay, so Scott, this gift I have says whenever your character gives their next destination over to fortune, they're sure to find adventure, whether traveling by land, sea, or other. When first coming upon a new threat to confront or problem to solve, due to this session, they gain one inspiration, which may take them above their normal limit, but is lost if not spent before the session's end.
Yeah, you certainly gain that inspiration.
Then I would like to use that inspiration to take my mighty spear and send a gout of flame upwards to light the sky.
Okay, so you send an arc of flame over to kind of illuminate the area, and it bathed in this strange supernal light. You guys see ahead. You see a group of about 5 men who are kind of like hunched, uh, somewhat awkwardly, unnaturally, kind of at the side of the road, like kind of laying in wait, and they kind of look up with kind of feral looks in their eyes when they see the light going overhead, and they start to pull their weapons from their belts, like daggers and short spears, and they sort of start to get agitated and start moving their way to the source of the light. Yes.
When they get into visual range, I'm going to put on my best mom face.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm. No, no, no. Come on out. We can see you. There's no need to hide.
You can give me a command roll,
I don't think I
uh,
actually have command.
since you're being declarative
Oh,
about
I
this.
do have a command. Okay. Should we say presence and command?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Oh,
There is a 1 point complication on this roll,
okay.
so you will have to get at least 2 successes. Oh, so you got 2 successes. Um, so you give your best mom voice, and um, because you had enough success to overcome the complication, Their response is oddly neutral. You're pretty sure that any common brigand would be cowed by the momliness of your tone, but these things just sort of give these very strange blank looks in response to this, and they do come forward, but they are certainly sort of coming forward with this dogged, hostile approach.
Mhm.
And at this point, we're going to need to roll initiative. So the way that works in Story Path is you have to roll the lower of your dexterity plus empathy, or your athletics plus cunning. Just let me know when you have those successes. Okay. One from Bjorn, one from Maya. Oh, two from Maya, two from Clea. What about you, Sean?
3.
Three? Okay. All right. So the way initiative, the second part of initiative working is that this establishes slots. So anyone can go on. We've got one slot at 3, 2 slots at 2, and 1 slot at 1. Anyone can take those. It's just kind of up to the group. Um, uh, Let me do an initiative roll for these nasty boys. Right. So they've got a slot on 1. So that means that we have 3 whole actions before they get to do anything. So yeah, like I said, there's these 5 like very strange, very feral looking men starting to approach you. Who would like to take the first go?
If no one has any objections, I will.
Sure thing. Make it go for it.
Bjorn has no ability to fight at any sort of range, but they do move very, very quickly. I not only have the skill trick No Barrier, which allows me to ignore difficulties in getting to where I'm going, and I have the Like Hermes gift, which gives me +1 speed scale. So Bjorn is going to use his quickness to get up close and personal very quickly,
All right.
and then sort of like put up his hands. He fights with his fists.
Okay, so you're gonna make an attack on one of them?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and make me a close combat roll.
I'm going to go with might and close combat since they have not had an opportunity to try and attack him back yet. We are going to do that. Nope, that one. There we go. That is 5 total.
5 total. You lay this guy flat. He just crumples like he's nothing at the with the might of your fists. The others around them don't seem to react at all. They just seem to be steadily progressing towards the cart. So we have another PC turn. Who'd like to take it?
I'm going to do better than that. Talbus is going to run up and try and spear 2 of them.
All right, so you're making a mixed action?
Yes.
Okay, let's go ahead and see how that works out.
I do want to look up a gift really quick to see
Sure
if it
thing,
applies.
I also forgot that I have forceful martial arts, so that hurt a lot. It's gonna be entertaining.
Oh, this gift doesn't cost any inspiration. It just reduces my target's soft armor by my destructive facet, which is 1.
Noted.
Four successes.
4
I rolled
successes.
1 on the dice.
With that gift, you are able to spear through 2 of them, just utterly going right through them, and they like collapse on the spear and crumple to the ground. Once again, there are 2 remaining companions. There's no effect on them. They are just making their way, weaving around you to get to the cart. So we have one more PC turn before however many of them left get to do a thing. Which of you two would like to take it?
I'm gonna off. I want to know if I can roll to tell if a gift would have any effect on them, because what not gift, whatever it's called. Yeah, gift. I guess.
Mhm.
I'm clever.
What's the gift and what does it do?
The gift is hypnos averse to his eyes. Past regrets and half-sense future catastrophes are mercifully locked behind the veil of sleep of dreams until a wrathful oracle confronts the unworthy with the very stuff of their nightmares. I can spend one inspiration and choose a target and roll empathy against their integrity. And if I succeed, nightmares and horrors from their unconscious mind plague them for a scene. All their actions suffer complications. Equivalent to my intuitive facet, which is 1.
Yeah, go ahead and make a roll for that. That will have an effect.
Okay. And is it just empathy or is it empathy plus ability?
Empathy plus an ability. So probably presence or something along those lines.
Presence. Okay, I can do presence.
Okay, yeah. So one of them just starts to make these horrible gnashing noises. It starts to clutch at its head and it pulls out clumps of air as it sort of just gurgles and roars as these nightmare visions start to assault it. But there is still one active brigand who is going to, as the rest of you are kind of engaged with their foes, it's going to come up, kind of weave around everybody, and it's going to slash a dagger at the goat.
No.
You do not want to touch Bjorn's friends.
And he gets a good solid hit on it. However, at the last moment, the old man Lynx puts out his arm in front of it, and the dagger digs into his forearm. And he goes, "Oh!" He says, "I told you we'd protect this thing, but please dispatch this foe." And we have one PC turn left, and that would go to Maya.
And there's just the one
Yeah, there's
creature
the one
left,
guy.
right?
He's right up on the cart, sort of slashing, trying to get at the goat.
I guess I will use my animal companion.
Okay.
I have an automaton companion rather,
Okay.
which is a metal snake that Maya wears as a necklace. Kind of hard to see.
Okay.
And they're just gonna let it sort of slither down their arm and jump over to the creature and attack. Because I
Okay.
am not getting close to whatever that is.
Gotcha. And does that have stats that you can roll for it, or what does it say its stats are?
It's got 2 of combat.
Okay.
Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll go ahead and make that roll. Yeah, it rolled pretty good. So yeah, it leaps out and just goes for the throat, and this gout of black blood starts to pour out of it. And we are at the top of the round, which, given that all of them gone down, is a little odd. But Bjorn, the one that you fell, starts to twitch in a very odd, strange way, as the flesh of it starts to fall away as its skeleton stands up out of the body. And its eyes, the empty eye sockets as the eyes fall out, start to burn with an unnatural fire. And
That's gonna be fun. For anyone who doesn't know what goes on with the Scandian Storm, we have a problem with the undead.
But we are at the top of the round. That was that was sort of an interstitial action, and you see all of the other ones that have fallen start to twitch, and their skeletons stand up out of their bodies.
I'm just going to dismissively burn the two that I had speared. Just point the spear, keep the spear pointed at them, and channel the might of the gods through it and shoot a fire blast at them.
Okay, make that
Fire.
roll.
Wait, how big is the room?
It's a road.
Okay.
Do not worry about Bjorn. Bjorn is strong.
And I'm going to ask if I can spend a momentum.
That's up to the table.
Go ahead.
Since I've generated us two already.
Do it.
Let me see if this uses my weapons enhancement or something else. It's at least two. It does not say so. So it is up to you, Scott.
We'll say it goes with the weapons enhancement.
Then 4.
Okay, so 4 total successes, or all right.
Yes.
So yeah, you blast one of these skeletons, but it seemed paradoxically, it seems the skeletons are a little hardier than their former flesh mechas, and you are not able to get both of them. But one of them
That's
does
not right.
explode with the blast of fire. So that's the first go. So that's the 1 on 3. We have 2 on 2. Who wants to take one of those actions?
If no one else wants to, the one that Clymene took down, it didn't actually die, right?
No, it's just sort of standing there,
Okay.
but it has like pulled away enough that the flesh has started to pull away from it.
Okay,
and,
but
like,
it's like kind of sort of incapacitated.
yeah,
basically.
it is currently incapacitated. Yes.
Okay. So Bjorn's going to go after the one he took down, and he's going to try and Mortal Kombat this thing and rip its spinal column and head out of the back of its ribcage.
All right.
I'm going to use the 2-dot thing for martial arts where I get to add, or for forceful martial arts, where I can add the brutal tag to my weapon attack.
Nice.
Brutality.
Yeah.
Go for it.
And that one is, because I have no enhancement, only 3 successes.
You have 1 enhancement. You'll always have an enhancement for your attacks.
Oh, so 4.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you are absolutely able to like as it's like throwing off its flesh, you grab the spinal column, rip it out, and dash it, and it is destroyed. So we have a second PC turn on 2. Who would like to go? Maya, would that you want to have your snake do its thing again, or do you want to use something else?
I guess I'll have my snake do its thing again, especially because this one is like right up on top of this goat, so we kind of need
Gotcha.
to take care of it.
Okay. All right. I'll make the roll for that again.
And I didn't realize last time, but it does have natural weapons, which provides 1 enhancement to attacks.
Awesome. Great. And it actually rolled pretty well. So yeah, it like crawls up within the goat and like starts biting at like the joints around it on the skeleton, starts biting off the joints around its neck, and it like causes the skull of it to just like roll off of it, and then the bones collapse.
Nice. Good job, Snake Necklace.
But that does mean that the one who did not get fire blasted, it does have a go. And presuming that Telvius is standing in between it and the goat, it is going to take an attack at you. So
All
you could
right.
please roll your defense.
That's a 1.
That's a 1. Okay, so you have two defense. Noted.
No. My defense is a 1. Sorry.
Okay, so you didn't roll any successes? Okay. Okay. And what is your soft armor?
1 against slashing only.
Okay. Noted. So yeah, it does come at you, and with like these terrible like black nail claws, it slashes into you, and it does an injury condition to you.
May I retroactively spend a gift because I was looking it up?
Sure.
I'm going to activate Nemean Skin, which increases the difficulty of increased injury by my stamina,
Okay, then
which
yeah,
is 3.
its nails scrape against your bronze-like skin, and causes sparks to go across it, and you are undamaged. And then we have
Dumb skeleton.
so yeah, so Clemia, you have the last go, and the only skeleton left standing is this one that has just raked at Taldius.
Well, the other one that's incapacitated, ripping at its head. That
No,
was
that was the one that you that you
no,
went
the
at.
one that I
Oh, okay, yeah,
down
fair enough.
that
Yeah,
stood back up.
gotcha. Yeah, so there are 2 left. One of them is the one that's it seems to be like shaking off that those terrible nightmare visions.
Mhm.
So it's like kind of like half skeleton, half dude, and then there's the one that came at Talbius.
I think then my action would just be, because I really don't have anything else I can do, and I don't think I can give skeletons nightmares. Then I'm gonna go ahead and say my action is to put myself between the attackers and the goat, and just take whatever hits that come my way.
Okay, noted. Um, so you're just kind of holding action and ready to take the hit for something. Gotcha.
But
Okay, so we are at top of the round now. So who would like to take another go?
I'll take it if no one else does.
Sure.
Basically, second verse, same as the first. As I mentioned earlier, the Scanian Storm have a problem with the undead, and Bjorn, they are literally exploring, trying to solve their problem with the undead.
Then okay, make your attack. Which one are you going after? Are you going after the one that's sort of shaking off Plemia's mental influence, or the one that just attacked Aldius?
They've seen what Talavus can do. They're not too terribly worried. They don't want this other skeleton that doesn't have a lot going on for it to start being able to do things. So
Alright.
they're going for the one that is shaking off the nightmare visions and
Okay.
very much again doing the Mortal Kombat, grabbing the spine, removing it from the rib cage, and this time they're gonna kind of like hold it up with like a predator and yell. I got with enhancement 5 successes.
Yeah, you fatality the hell out of this.
Mm-hmm.
You rip it to shreds, dashing its bones upon the road, and it is no more. So we have another PC go and 1 skeleton remaining. Who wants to take it out?
Do we want to do anything cool in magic before I just do a punch thing?
Before you stab it.
I don't know what kind of cool magic tricks you guys have besides snake.
My cool magic tricks all involved getting hit by something.
Not you. I'm talking about the people with cool magic tricks.
Sorry, no, I don't really have a good like. Can I determine what the weather will be like in 7 days for this skeleton? Or maybe I can give it a drink and become buddies. Can I become drinking buddies with the skeleton?
Have you tried?
I'm gonna try. He might be on skeleton Tinder. Who knows?
He could maybe, no, I don't have any applicable cool magic tricks right now.
All right, I'm going to. My spear would actually now be technically on fire and have the incendiary tag. So, going to do a cool little spin and bring the spear down as if it were a blunt object, but crack the skull and hopefully put the whole skeleton to pieces.
All right, make that roll.
Also, are these guys using any kind of armor?
No.
Okay, they're not wearing anything. Because if they were using dumb armor, I would have advantage. Dumb meaning bronze. Uh, 9 incendiary.
It explodes in fiery bones and just casts like burning bones across the road. And the skeleton brigands are no more. However, in the midst of the confusion, you hear Link shout, "Curses! It's out of the cart!" And you start to hear a fading as little Otha starts running out in the woods in fear.
Bjorn will chase after the goat.
Okay. Bjorn and anyone else who wants to give suit, please give me an athletics roll.
Now, as I've never actually had scale on anything in any Trinity game, what does +1 speed scale give me?
It's a comparison. It basically means that you would get if you indeed have one speed scale over something, which I'm not telling you what the speed scale of this goat is. You would have 2 enhancement over it.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and just get a base athletics roll.
I'm chasing a goat, aren't I?
That is 4, and again, I do have the no barrier skill trick that just kind of allows me to ignore like difficult terrain and stuff. I
All
don't
right,
believe it actually costs anything. At least I don't remember
Okay.
it costing anything. So
Skill tricks always cost a momentum. At least one.
Yeah.
If it would be something that might get in our way, then yeah, I would throw. I would.
There doesn't seem to be any significant obstacles. It's just woods.
And yet somehow I rolled 0 successes.
What about the other 2? Are you guys pursuing the goat or staying by the cart?
I would like to try a different tactic.
Okay.
Based on personal experience, I know that chasing a goat it does not actually result much in success. But I do know that goats can be persuaded to return with proper enticements, we can say. So I'm going to try and lure the goat back, like with rustling the feed bag or offering, oh, I have some apples here, Otha. You want an apple?
Okay. Give me either a survival or a persuasion roll.
Okay. Could we do presence and persuasion?
Sure. There's going to be a 2-point complication on this because the goat is well and truly panicked.
Yeah, no, I understand.
If you do not buy that off, it will come to you, but it may not be going in the right direction. It may be thinking it's going in the right direction, so you'll have to get. Yeah, we'll see about that.
Let's just do the. Come on, sweetie.
You have the animal pen edge.
I do not, but I got 2 successes.
2 successes. Okay. So that being said, so what you'll have to do is you'll have to choose in between buying off the complication or succeeding on the roll. So basically, it's a choice between the goat just keeps going in the direction that it's going, or it runs off in entirely different directions. But in neither case is it going to come back to you.
I want to leave that to the group, actually, I think. What do we think is the better option?
Is there a way for like someone to assist that role?
Yeah, if you want to give me you rolled persuasion, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so if you want to do a survival roll, to try and do some actual animal use some animal knowledge, to help that out, you could do that.
Would that be survival and manipulation?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. No, these are the kind of oats that the ghosts really like.
Let's see. And could I use broad knowledge for this, which is random trivia and a useful fact that's just one enhancement for roles where knowing a random piece of information could prove useful?
Sure, absolutely. That I would say like knowing the right type, the goat's favorite oat.
Yep, that is a random fact. In that case, four,
4 successes.
4 successes.
Okay. Um, so yeah, so with the combination of your guys' effects, Bjorn, you're chasing this goat, and this goat is fast. Like you are just barely keeping up with it, but you hear from the back, uh, uh, the sweet smell of oats and the calming, enticing words of your allies. As Sladius just kind of like doesn't necessarily trip and eat shit, but he does not get any ground on this goat. But yeah, so you hear that and you see the goat like come to a stop a bit, and you actually kind of since you're so into it, you kind of overshoot it a little bit, and the goat sort of stops a little bit, like kind of like looks around a bit. Clearly, like the panic starts to fade, and it turns and starts heading back to uh, um, to the road. So as you're sort of like um, as you are kind of like reorienting yourself and getting ready to follow the goat back to the road, you are able to see that the goat uh, stumbles a bit. And you hear kind of like the shifting of rocks as something has happened as then the goat kind of just like very suddenly goes out of sight, and you start to hear like the sound as the goat has stumbled down a hole of some sort.
We have problem.
Yeah, now we need to figure out where that hole goes.
Bjorn is too big and muscly to fit down hole.
As you approach, you actually see like the rocks around this hole are like crumbling down, and like the hole is starting to widen.
Oh, so it's a sinkhole.
Yeah, and you hear like this faint.
I'm gonna slide down the hole and land in a soft patch of dirt or something. And if I have to dramatically edit that, I will.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, you can. Send me
We
a point
like
of this.
as we see Televish just like diving down this hole, like lasso some rope around him so that we could try to like pull him back if it ends up being too dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely, you can. That's a clever enough image. So yeah, you get a rope on Talvis as he dives into this hole. You softly land, and you find you are on. You kind of catch yourself on kind of a ledge because this hole is really deep. Like now that you're in it, like you can see this hole goes down, down so far that you cannot see the bottom of it. And looking around, you don't see Otha here, and you also hear further down the hole.
We have a problem. It's a
A voice
very deep
problem?
hole. Very, very deep. How long is our rope?
Not long enough.
Do we have another rope?
Well, if Otha survived, then reasonably we should.
Well, I don't think he's hit the bottom yet.
No, you can. It's not the Doppler effect is no longer going. You can faintly hear that he's kind of at a bottom level.
Oh, well.
It's at this time Lynx comes, with his walking stick up to the thing, and it's just like, "Oh, this is an ominous hole. I think there may be something strange about this aperture in the earth."
Really?
No,
Indeed.
really.
He says, "I do not like the feelings that I am getting off," and he kind of like waves his hand over it.
Maya, you are
Yeah.
muted.
Yeah, what's up?
Please let go of the rope.
All right.
I jump again.
Okay, so you jump down into the hole. You jump down into the hole, and like you just start falling, and your vision, the darkness just starts to collapse in on yourselves and on you, and you lose track of the plot essentially. Things go dark for you, and you guys see and hear him just sort of jump into the hole, and you don't hear him land or anything. He just goes in, and you hear.
So does it seem like we lost Talos to this hole, but somehow Otha is still
He still
in
has
there
his
somewhere?
flaming spear in his hand, right?
Yeah, maybe about 10 feet down, the blackness consumes the light from that spear.
Okay. Uh,
Link says, "You may lose both. I believe I can make sure that you have a way back. But it may, if you are to find your friend and Otha again, I believe you may need to follow."
I believe Bjorn believes we have found pit into the underworld. But I must rescue my goat. And Bjorn will just cannonball into the hole.
Yeah, you start to free fall once, much less Talvis. Just the blackness just surrounds you, and then your consciousness winks out. What about the two oracles?
I'm not gonna jump in an ominous hole. Lynx, can you tell us more about what your plan is before we just walk away and leave?
He says, "I have seen such places before." And he's like pulling out like a satchel full of like reagents and things. I will light a guide fire that will guide you back when you have recovered your friends.
What you said that you don't like the emanations of the hole.
Oh no, it's a bad hole. There's some bad stuff.
It's a bad hole. The
Uh,
hole
I,
then has bad vibes.
yes. I know not what lies at the other end, but I have in my day I've plumbed some holes of this nature.
We didn't need to know that.
Worry not. I am beyond such things. But I do urge you. Your friends are in grave danger, as is little Otha.
Okay, and you believe that this fire will bring us back, or like give us the ability to come back?
When you have found your friends, you will see its light, and it will guide you home.
When
This
you
ain't
said
this
when
ain't
you
my
said
first dark hole.
when you say that you have plumbed such holes in the past, I mean clearly you have survived to tell the tale
He says,
of how deep you've gotten into these dark holes. But could you perhaps give us some insight as to the dangers of going too deep into the hole?
"I know that the such things lead to strange places, odd realms. I cannot say exactly what you will face, but you be prepared for strangeness. But I urge you, do not waste. Who knows what is happening on the other
Yeah.
side?"
Okay. Well, Maya, are we ready to go plunge into the hole?
I don't know about plunge, but and Maya will take out their dagger to sort of like try to like keep their fall, like stab it into the wall as they go to try to keep from falling too quickly.
And
Um,
that's successful for a time. And then your dagger just it's not so much that the dagger loses purchase, it's that the wall goes away.
oh, I don't like this.
And you both start to free fall and the blackness overtakes you.
Yeah.
And
But what time of day is it when
it is nighttime.
it is nighttime? Okay. So then I'll just quickly little note and just say, could you burn this in the guide fire? Just letting my patron know where I'm going.
Certainly. I'm sure that it will meet its march. I urge you, tarry not long.
Then I jump. Yeah.
All right. So, all of you fall into darkness. You sort of lose track. What sensation there is this sensation of being like pulled or dragged across a great distance. But like your sensation of time and relativity to time and place starts to get very swimmy in your head as you all just sort of like you all impact, you all land, but it's not like you don't splatter. It's very much just sort of like you jumped off a short ledge kind of thing, and you find yourself in a very, very strange environment. It is this canyon of sorts, this very narrow canyon, um, maybe about 30, 40 feet high. And you see up in the sky, uh, strange lights are flashing as sounds of strange thunder, and you hear screams all around you. The air is just it grabs in your throat. It's like there's some terrible odor or and flavor in the air that it's hard to breathe. And you see down at the end of the canyon um, some terrible like leg of a gigantic creature stomps past, and there's a flash of light as you hear this terrible booming sound and screams start to come up as you sort of look up and see this bulbous figure with three spindly legs uh, flashing out this strange lightning across these strange angular canyons. And that is where we're going to take a break. Welcome back to Simulacra Studios presents Trinity Continuum AEGIS, Saga of the Goat, Part 3, the last one. So when last we left our Grecian heroes, they were in a strange place, in a strange dark canyon of square, square walled canyon, when with the sounds of screams and terrible lightning and flashing lights in the sky, as a three-legged monstrosity seemed to stalk down past the entrance of this canyon. And you hear, like I say, you hear sounds of screams, sounds of booms, and probably what sounds like a wall collapsing. And at the very edge of your perception, in all of this chaos, you hear coming down towards the edge of in the direction of the edge of this canyon where this three-legged thing seems to be stalking.
I didn't do this.
Bjorn does not care. We need to go rescue Ota.
What's the weather like down here?
It is very cloudy, and like I said, the air just tastes horrible. And there is lightning, although it's not like any lightning you've ever seen or experienced before, flashing in many different directions.
How's my danger sense doing?
Oh yeah, no, everything's high-low.
You're in danger.
Everything's golden. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
This thing that we're seeing, is it big enough that if we like walked underneath it, it just wouldn't see us because we're like ants to it, or is it just like
No, it's
giant sized?
it's giant. It's you know it's not like towering. It is very much like at it's larger than all of you, but it's not at the scale where it wouldn't notice you.
Is there any sort of like not path exactly, but maybe like we could make a path somewhere where we'd be able to avoid detection by this thing and get to wherever it seems like the goat is?
Um. Yeah. I mean, you guys can make a run for it. And try and like move out of the way. To get out of the way. As you're kind of like looking forward, you see a crowd of people like run past the entrance to this canyon. And they're very odd. They have like strange, like multiple layers of clothing. Most of them have like a bit of like a lump of fabric on top of their head. And they're just like running in panic. and you see like the thing above like pivots down and sends out a blast of lightning that you don't see exactly what happens, but it doesn't sound very good.
Does my direction sense can it be used to tell the direction that Otha is in?
Yeah, you're pretty sure that it's about maybe 50 yards off in the direction that way. Like you can like I can see you can barely hear his bleeding off in that direction.
So I'm gonna just be like, quickly, no, this way. I don't think we can help these people meaningfully at this
But
time.
we swore an oath to the goat.
Yes.
We must protect Otha.
All right, so if
Yeah.
you guys want to try and sneak past this terrible thing, three-legged thing, that is going to require either a larceny roll to sneak past or an athletics roll to just book it past.
And if we have neither?
What is the
That's a
group
good question.
consensus on what we want to do? I am significantly better at one than the other, but I do have both.
Oh.
I can attempt one and not the other.
Which can you attempt?
I can attempt athletics.
Okay, I would definitely be better at sneaking.
How about Bjorn and I distract it, and you guys get to the goat?
Okay, that's different than the idea that I had, which was that maybe Bjorn should just carry me.
But what about Maya? I'm not a good runner either.
Well, if it's about like half of us going, just like going as fast as we can, not worrying about stealth, and the other half like going stealth, we can all try to go at the same time and hope that the people who are not going stealth can just like simply outrun its lightning face.
What if I offer myself as a diversion?
I don't know that any of us should try to be a
Bjorn does not
diversion.
like the idea of you getting hit by that lightning.
I
I've been
don't
hit
like
by
it
lightning
either.
once.
I don't exactly like it either, but this is the situation that we're in. So
How
I
about
have no meaningful way to get past it.
how about instead of any one of us offering ourselves as a diversion, we try to come up with something that we can like toss away from us to cause a diversion away from all of us, and then we try to get over there.
Why don't we wait until big thing focuses on other group of people? And
Is it still at the mouth of the canyon?
It's like it looks like it's kind of like patrolling down what you think kind of puzzle out must be some kind of road or street.
If one was to collapse part of the canyon, could it fall on the thing?
Presumably, yeah. Like you see that there's like an outer wall to it, um, and like now that you're looking closely, you see like um, it looks like it's a passageway, but it's blocked by like this piece of wood that seems to be like attached to the canyon wall. And you
What
think
I would like to do is use my Mighty Cleave gift, which lets me. It's the one that reduces armor, but
okay.
it also. Your character can also use this gift to cut through wooden or stone walls or pillars as easily as through sturdy bronze armor. Skip can empower your fists easily, blah, blah, blah. Also, your character can use this gift to carve openings and even doorways into walls, even if his fist is his only tool.
Okay, so yeah, if you want to like take out like the edge of the canyon and
Yes.
like cause a collapse, yeah, go ahead and make a close combat roll. There will be a 1 point complication of some of this wall falling on you.
Oh, yeah, let's hope we can avoid that.
And what does it do to armor?
Well, the wall would do nothing, I'm assuming, but the gift reduces
Okay, all right,
one soft armor.
all right, noted. Okay, yeah, go ahead and make that roll.
Total of 4.
4 successes. Yeah, so calling upon the power of ambrosia from within you, you make a mighty cleave at the edge of this canyon wall and sort of collapse the edge of it, and it comes tumbling down forward onto one of the legs of the tripod. And it kind of, what did I just say? I'm sorry. Three-legged monster. And it causes it to buckle that leg, and it leans forward, and it doesn't necessarily go down, but it is definitely off kilter. So you think you have a moment in which you can all sprint to the other. As you're seeing now, there's another low canyon across this suite.
Run!
And Bjorn will run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as long as you all book it immediately, you are able to avoid this terrible thing.
I will avoid the terrible thing.
I will reluctantly avoid the terrible thing.
Okay. So yeah, you go in and your direction sense, Clemea, gives you a good idea of where you need to go. And you come upon another canyon, and you see Otha, kind of like very much scared, very much panicked, um, uh, like clambering its way through a hole in one of these canyons that seems to have recently been blown open. And he's just trying to get away. He's very, very panicked, and he's like got his little goat butt halfway into the thing, and he is just scrambling his way into this hole.
Bjorn wastes no time grabbing the goat and putting it back on his shoulders, hopefully comforting the goat.
Okay. Give me let's go ahead and give me an athletics roll to see if you can get your hands on your goat before it scrambles away.
Five total.
5 total.
Mm-hmm. Bjorn is very athletic.
I rolled 6. You get just in time. You just miss it as the goat scrambles into the hole in the canyon, and you see, as you're like right in front of it, you see this hole is filled with that same darkness as you start to hear the receding sounds of the bleat.
The goat has gone down another hole, but this hole is too small for Bjorn.
You said that about the last hole.
Yeah,
Last
you
hole
could
was-
you could squeeze down. It's a pretty.
Yeah, it might be a tight fit, big boy, but I think you can handle it. Maybe if we grease you up a little.
Yeah, do we have any olive oil?
I always keep olive oil on hand because I am always prepared for Turkish oil wrestling.
I don't know what that means, but let's oil them up.
You should go witness it. It's a glory to behold. And I will lend my olive oil, I guess, that I just carry around as one does.
Now, before we do this, is it actually too small for Bjorn, or is he just wanting to get oiled up?
I mean, it's a tight fit. It wouldn't hurt for him to get oiled up.
All right, let's do this. You ever seen a Gladiator movie?
I'm gonna step back and admire my handiwork.
the now oily and shiny muscle man that is Bjorn will begin clambering into this tight squeeze of a hole to try and chase after his goat.
So yeah, you start to get a ways in, and then you start once again feeling that blackness start to crush around you, and you feel pulled in, and that sensation of being pulled or dragged through this timeless blackness returns again. All of you witness Bjorn's like get in, but when he gets about like up to his thighs, you just see him get yanked the rest of the way through.
And
Who's
you hear
next?
Various cursing as he's trying to squeeze through, and initially in Scandian, which no one else speaks.
I do.
So you
That's me.
understand the fuck shit, goddammit, this is tight.
Phrasing.
I'll go ahead and go. Do I
Yeah.
need to be oiled, or is the oil optional for me?
It's an okay fit for you, but yeah, once again, you start crawling in, and then the blackness takes you, and you get pulled through.
Unfortunately, Bjorn has a +1 complication on athletics because we oiled him completely, even his feet.
Nice.
I have a gift that allows me to just say F that complication for now.
Excellent.
There.
I'm assuming everyone follows suit into the hole in the wall of the canyon.
Yes.
Maya follows, but they're real mad about it.
Okay. Once you all kind of make your way through or pulled, and the lights start to come back in behind your eyes, you find yourself in a very dark passageway. This time things are a lot more familiar. You know, the walls here are kind of made of stone. The air doesn't have that choking quality to it. There's no sounds of lightning booming. There's light, but it's off in the distance. It's clearly that of a torchlight or a firelight. You just sort of find yourself in this long stone passageway, but you do not hear any bleeding.
Do I smell goat?
No.
Does direction sense give me any direction to go in for goat?
You'd have to have some sign of
Okay.
where it is, like before you had the bleeding. But yeah, you can certainly keep your ears out, and that will come on board when that comes.
Okay. Then, as a follow up, because I did bring it up, does danger sense ping anything out here?
Not currently.
Okay.
Now, you said this is a dark stone hallway.
Mm-hmm.
How large?
About a Bjorn and a half width.
I love how
Shoulder
that's our
width.
measurement now.
Is there anything written on the walls? Any cool pictures?
Yes, now that you mention it, yeah, there are pictograms. If you'd like to roll culture.
Now, I actually do have culture, and I actually have intellect. I don't have any cunning.
Okay,
I have
intellect will
polyglot.
work.
Could that help?
Yeah, that would work.
Okay. May I borrow 3 momentum? Well, let me wait and see how I
Yeah,
do.
roll first.
I got 1.
Okay. You think you may have seen something like this before, in like travel, like logs of travel from the Western Empire of the Nile.
Think we
4. Oh yeah, these are hieroglyphs.
think we are.
You have enough context to know exactly what those are, Clemia.
Egypt.
Can I pinpoint anything more specific than hieroglyphics or?
Yeah, these are like kind of funerary, like the things that they would have inside the walls of their tombs.
Can I use my connection to death right now, the fact that I am in mourning and grief, to understand the context that we are in fact in a tomb?
Yeah, absolutely, you can.
Okay. We are in a tomb. You can see here on the wall the name. I don't read this language, but the name of the deceased and their accomplishments. Someone loved them very much to have built this in their honor.
Bro
If
does not speak
we-
the language, but the pictures are pretty.
If we don't find another like scary hole that this goat has gone down, it's probably gonna be real bad for us to just like walk out of this tomb if anyone is out there and sees us come out of it. So I guess just like let's go forward and hope that we find either Otha or another dimension tube and get out of here.
Um,
As you guys are conversing and strategizing here, you very suddenly hear three loud cracking noises and some choked off screams coming from somewhere off in the distance. And almost immediately after that, echoing off the walls, you hear a panic.
uh, the immediate no wasted time. Bjorn is just fucking gone.
All right, so you're going off in the
Oh,
direction
yeah.
of
Bjorn
okay.
is not smart enough to contemplate that might have other consequences. They just want to rescue the goat.
I go more slowly, following the trail of dripping oil.
Is there any indication of where the actual mausoleum would be, where the body is interred?
Not that you can pick up. Like you, there, like this hallway seems to kind of like out on the one end, like not too far from where you are, just seems to lead to like just a small chamber that has some grave goods in it.
Mhm.
The direction from where the noises comes seems to be like so it's basically a dead end. That one section. The only way forward would be down where the noises came from.
Okay, so before I head off with the others, I'm just gonna like whatever trinkets I may have on me, I'm just gonna go ahead and deposit them with the rest of the grave goods as a sign of respect.
Okay.
Like here's an apple, some money, a pretty button, shiny rock. Here you go.
An apple the goat didn't want.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a pretty yeah. So Bjorn, you run forward, and so you are the first to come into this larger chamber that has torchlights rimming it.
There's a little
And
bit of
in
slipping and sliding from
the little bit, yeah, you slip a little bit on your own oil, and you kind of like slide into the room, looking around, trying to find signs of Otha. But what you see is a rather shocking scene. You see kind of like up on this raised dais, you see what looks like a large stone box. It's a sarcophagus, but Bjorn may not have a context for that.
Yeah, they
And
don't
sort of,
bury the dead in the north,
yeah.
so
Um, but
not
like
anymore.
around it, you see three figures who are kind of like lying on like the steps leading up to the dais. With they're wearing kind of like linen clothing, and they are all either unmoving or like clutching at their chests, with blood pouring out of all of them. And at the lip of the box is a figure dressed in kind of brown, very strange clothing. It looks like he had another one of those bits of fabric that you saw on those other people's heads that he's like taken off and putting on the lip of the sarcophagus. And you see it has a very strange, like shiny band around it, with the image of a skull on the brow where it would be. And this man seems to be like you hear him kind of laughing as he's digging into this stone box, and you see like a bone arm like being like grabbed and discarded as he is digging in it. And the rest of you come in shortly thereafter and see this scene before you.
Do any of these people look like Brendan Fraser or Rachel Weisz?
I'm glad I'm not the only person who was thinking that.
Sadly, no. There are no plucky heroes here. Only the villainous, skull-bedecked man.
Them messing with the dead, though, that's bad juju. Bjorn has seen firsthand what happens when you mess with the dead. Sometimes they come back to life and become a plague on your land. And they don't see any sign of Otha, right? They just
Yeah,
see
no,
it's-
you just see the dudes. You don't see currently any sign of Otha. This is a very large chamber, so you're gonna have to
spend some
travel some
time.
distance to get up to this guy. But yeah, like I said, the rest of you all come in, and you see, you see the bodies on the ground. You see this man. You see him, and he seems to have gotten what he's coming for. And he turns around. He has a jar that he has taken from the box. And Cleme, you recognize this as a sarcophagus. Like this is where the main body would be interned. And you see bones scattered along the way. And he is like maniacally working at this jar,
I'm gonna
trying to get it open.
I'm gonna hit him with the nightmares.
Okay, make that roll for me.
That's an instant
An instant fu.
fu,
I
right?
was going to go help him with the jar.
Bjorn is about to slam his face into the sarcophagus.
Please, please stop.
Slam
Please
that
stop.
guy's face into it. For a second, I thought you meant Bjorn was going to smash his own face into
So
it.
did
And I was like, why would that help anything?
No, he is going to smash the guy who is messing with the dead body's face into the side of the sarcophagus.
All right, so your action is running up to get
Yeah,
to.
he is actively moving to get closer to this guy.
Can I use resolve?
Yeah.
Okay, because I really have a thing against desecrating the dead here. Oh, and can I say that this is a kindness to the dead person?
Sure, why not?
Okay,
So that'll give you an enhancement for your
With it.
specialty.
so that's 1, 2, 3, and they're all 10s. So
Okay, then you would re-roll those.
okay, so let's go ahead and say. Now that gives me a 9 extra, so that's 4.
Okay. Yeah, so you catch his glance just as he gets the lid open, and he stops, and the 1,000-yard death stares of the no doubt countless atrocities of what this terrible man has done. And so he starts to go slack in horror, and still holds on to the jar, and is with a effort of will, keeping it from dropping. And you all are able to see, in a moment of shock, that what's in the jar is a very familiar looking glowing gold liquid.
Aha, yes.
But he is definitely staring into the well of his own horror. And unless anyone has anything they'd like to do at range, Bjorn's gonna get to him.
Or somehow they want to convince Bjorn to not beat the piss out of this guy.
Beat the piss out of him, but take the jar first. Don't just let that spill all over these dead people. There's no way for that to end well for anyone.
No.
Bjorn, wait.
Why wait? This man
Hey.
killed Otha.
Take. Wait, what?
Just take the jar.
Otha's not here.
Take the jar.
Okay.
Just give the jar to Maya. It's fine. And then you may proceed. Don't damage the sarcophagus.
I do not think his squishy face will damage rock.
It will. It will leave a mark. The bones will.
Just don't. Just smash him on the floor, please.
So do you take the time to make sure that the jar doesn't get shattered or whatnot? Because he's just kind of standing there.
Yeah, he also would know from the tales in the Scandian Storm how it started by getting ambrosia mixed with the dead.
Mm-hmm.
So he would, as soon as he actually saw the ambrosia, he'd be like, "Oh yeah, bad move.
Mm-hmm.
Take jar, put jar on ground. Now start smashing the guy into the ground."
Slam.
Yeah, just full on Mortal Kombat brutality, beating him into a bloody pulp.
Yeah. Yeah, that takes a minute or so to get him fully and truly pummeled. Do you end his life?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's one That's one dead, oddly well-dressed, skull-bedecked man.
Uh,
Um,
Bjorn, why didn't you just, that took a long time.
You do not know the troubles we have with the undead. Those who mess with the dead deserve the most painful of deaths.
yes, I agree. Uh, since there's a room of grave goods and there are dead people here, could we potentially like move the dead people to the room with the grave goods, and now the dead person now has more servants in the afterlife? Here you go. Here's your sacrifice. Please don't kill us. Sorry.
You can certainly do that. As sort of things do calm down, and as you're like starting to get the bodies and whatnot, I'm assuming you want to like put the bones back in the sarcophagus as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it feels right.
So as things sort of like calm down, and you guys are getting those tasks accomplished, echoing through the walls, you hear a combination of like splashing and
Otha lives! Forward!
uh,
Hold on. We've got bone things to do. Are we doing this right? Come on,
We're just-
Move.
Yeah,
do these match?
Well, there's only one set of bones.
bones. Yeah. So
The
Yeah.
rest are just recently dead bodies.
Oh, I took some of their bones.
why would you do that?
I thought we were supposed to.
Okay.
Well, leave those bodies alone.
Leave
We'll
those
put these
bodies-
bones back in here.
Put the bones in this one, take the bodies to the grave goods, and now he's got some servants. And hopefully, whoever this great beloved person is will not curse us for disturbing his rest.
What are you doing with the jar?
I was just about to say, if no one remembers the jar, Bjorn is going to put the jar back in the sarcophagus and close it.
Oh, yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
We
This
do
is not art.
We do not take from the dead.
Make sure it's tight.
Okay. So yeah, all the bodies are taken care of. The bones are returned. The jar is in. And you can like every now and then you just hear a splish, 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 and off in the distance. And now that you've had some time to orient, Clemea, you're pretty sure you can follow those sounds to where it is.
I will lead the group to where the sounds are after we
Yeah.
after we finish our musical interlude.
You navigate some twisting passages, and you sort of come into another. It looks like there's just one torch here that was like placed some time ago, and you kind of see this sort of moderately sized pool, like a constructed pool that has like water dripping down from the ceiling that seems to be filling it. And you see just Otha just kind of playfully splashing around in it, looking weird, changing every time you don't look at him.
You doing okay with that?
You're not dead. The strange skull man did not kill you.
You ready to go home?
Otha like kind of looks around, kind of like looks at you guys, like looks like he's like thinking about it, and then he kind of like stomps his foot on the it's a shallow pool. But when he stomps his foot, you hear like the cracking of stone, and the water goes black, and starts to pull down very rapidly. And Otha gets taken in by the water, and now this pool has become a dark pool.
So I thought that Otha just kept finding these dimension tubes, but is Otha creating them?
Is Otha creating them on purpose?
Give me an enigmas and an empathy roll.
I'm so
To
good at
determine whether or
enigmas.
not he is in fact creating them and whether or not he is doing it on purpose.
Oh, the dick.
Would that be enigmas?
Cunning
Intellect or cunning?
Yeah.
I'll
So
take cunning.
Probably cunning, yeah.
I will also take cunning. 2, 3, 3.
And I re-roll a 10.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I have not been re-rolling my 10s, so I'll do that now. Just 3.
3. Okay.
6.
Okay. You're pretty sure, yes, he is creating them. And Kamea, yeah, he's doing it on purpose.
Interesting.
Well, at least I understand why he doesn't want why the shepherd didn't want the goats.
So you have
Okay.
this sort of swirling black pool before you.
All right, let's go.
Let's
And
see where this goat leads us.
I stick my spear at it just see if it's going to be deep.
It like you saw how deep Otho was in it. He was up to kind of like his knees. When you stick the spear into it, it goes deeper than that. You don't find a bottom.
I pinch my nose and jump in.
Okay. Does everyone else follow suit?
Well,
Yes.
I'm not gonna pinch my nose and jump in because I'm gonna get into the hole.
Maya is definitely going along, but now that they know Otha's doing this on purpose, they're even more upset about it than they were following through the last hole.
Okay. You all jump down in, feel yourself pulled down through that now familiar darkness and consciousness snuffing experience.
my old friend.
And when you all come to, you are in a place that it takes a few moments to even like begin to understand what you're seeing. You are on a vast white expanse of sand that seems to go up into dunes um, uh, on up into the land, and there is an ocean, an unfamiliar ocean of an unfamiliar quality. It is just pouring down rain. You can tell that it's daytime because you see some light in the clouds. But it is just absolutely torrential. Up on the land, you see towering structures of glittering glass that are, it's just, you do not understand what those are. Like, that can't possibly be something, anything natural or anything. They defy descriptions. Off in the distance, off in the ocean, you see a wall of water just inexorably making its way towards this beach. And above you in the sky, you see this shining point of light that has just all of this swirling wind and water and energy swirling around it. And you see giant, strange, you think maybe birds of some sort that their wings aren't moving, that are just zooming across the sky, shooting out like kind of similar lightning blasts at this point of light. How are you all reacting?
I suppose for once in his life, not being the brightest bulb is coming in handy for Bjorn. They are not actually intelligent enough to really comprehend what's going on and are still just single-mindedly focused on finding the goat that they have lost and getting back to trying to get them to Mount Olympus.
Okay, give me a survival roll.
Would you say resolve would be applicable, or
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
total of 3?
Okay. Yeah, you look off, just chaos everywhere, rain coming down. It is, yeah, you're just like surrounded by confusion, but you see off in the distance a little black dot running down this strange beach.
I have found the goat.
What about the rest of you? How are the rest of you reacting to this incredibly strange scene?
Maya is definitely taking a stance of not my circus and has no interest in whatever this is. Wants to get out of here as quickly as possible. And wants to get as close to Otha as quickly as possible because now that they know for sure Otha is making these portals on purpose, I want to make sure I get to where the goat is so we don't miss out on the chance to get into that portal. So, Maya, as much as possible, is like, that does not involve me. This is not my problem. I'm getting out of here.
Does it look like that water's moving to us?
Yes.
I want to find the hole.
Okay.
Clemini is gonna go with her besties.
Okay.
Um,
So with as everyone sort of finds resolve to book it, there is a just a cacophonous sound up in the sky, and you can't help but draw your attention up as you see that point of light get hit by something, and a fireball just takes it, and um, the light starts to fall, and even though you are resolved to book it, this does take your attention as this light falls down to the ground and falls about maybe 10 feet behind you all.
Can I catch it?
Would you give me an athletics roll?
Things falling from the sky in beams of light usually lead to trouble, in my limited experience.
But I will tell that as you all like turn to look, you can tell that it is in fact a woman.
That's 5 10s.
Oh, geez.
6 successes.
Yeah, you like turn tail, book it, and are able to catch her before she falls. And she is gravely injured. Like there's just blood pouring out of everything. She's burned across, and she doesn't seem to notice her own pain, but she is sobbing, like and screaming in a language that you don't understand.
Do I get anything from it with polyglot?
Um, Give me an empathy roll. Then add your polyglot bonus.
I don't have empathy.
Oh.
I have empathy. Can I?
Yeah, you can give it a shot.
Well, at least I don't have polyglot, but I can at least try and understand her.
I did get a success.
Okay.
you can
But
always
go ahead.
try and understand the emotion behind the words, even if you don't understand the words themselves.
Right. Would this be cunning or composure?
Given the amount of chaos going on, I would say composure. Try and like get a firm read. Okay. And you got how much? Does the polyglot give you any enhancement on that roll?
No, at least I don't think it actually has any mechanical effect other than I speak most languages, but
Okay.
let
Yeah,
me.
this is a completely alien language, but you kind of you definitely you understand regret.
Oh,
And,
okay.
like,
Yes.
apology and on a like madness level of regret. Like
Okay.
she is horrified by something she has done. Is the you get, and like yeah, and even not understanding the language, you kind of get a snippet of that. Like her eyes are locked on that wall of water now that she's down there, and it is
I'm. Go ahead.
and it is coming its way.
Okay. I am going to very quickly give her a drink and use my potion of connection.
Okay, what are the mechanics on that?
A drink from a friendly source puts a person at ease. Your character can spend a point of inspiration to infuse ambrosia in food or drink, so that the result positively alters the target's attitude towards your character, either reducing a negative attitude or increasing a positive one. Each success is on an empathy plus presence roll positively alters the subject's attitude towards your character by 1 point.
Okay, go ahead and make that roll then.
So it's empathy plus presence. That's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6.
Oh, geez. Okay. All right. Well, we
7.
don't have you don't have to play this out much longer. So yeah, she doesn't necessarily calm down, but like her attention focuses on you, and she just like puts her hands on your shoulders, and it's just like you're almost certain she's saying, "I am sorry. I am sorry. I am so so sorry. Please forgive me."
I want to try and communicate with her. How do we stop this? But we don't speak a language.
Yeah.
I'm just
we can have a vibes based conversation.
Okay.
Essentially.
So my vibes-based conversation is stop water.
Can't. I lost control.
Okay.
I was trying to help. I can't. And as this is being conveyed, you start to hear this over the din of the rain and the chaos. You hear this chugga 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 sound as those strange like wingless birds, a couple of them start to approach and converge over this area.
Are they
being buffeted by the wind? Yeah, that's danger. Well, that's like the wall of water is the mother of all danger.
Right.
Those things are absolutely dangerous.
Okay, well,
she sort of looks at all of you, and just pushes you away, and you're sure you think that she says something along the lines of "go."
Okay, before I go, I'm gonna take her hands, and I'm just gonna reassure her that I forgive you. I don't know what you did, but I forgive you. You're a woman, and I support women's rights and women's wrongs here. So that's what we're doing. And it's okay. We all make mistakes, and I'm just the mother energy of healing, and then I'm gonna go.
Yeah. Did the rest of you stay, or like were you booking it for the goat while Homeo was having this talk?
I was holding her.
Okay. Yeah, she pushes when she pushes her away, she like maneuvers around to you, and with surprising strength gets out of your arms.
Oh.
And like she just kind of like kneels down on the beach and motions for you to run.
Did Bjorn stick around for this vibe conversation?
They would have been very confused by it because they don't get the vibes. But they would have stuck around, if only to ensure that everyone can catch up to the goat.
That makes sense.
Because he has probably noticed by now that Clymene and Maya are not as fast as him and Talbos are.
That's Maya would have tried to like keep going after the goat, but when no one else was going, sort of like hanging around where Bjorn was, like, okay, we get it, like bad things are happening here. I don't think we can fix this what feels like a natural disaster. We need to get the goat. And if anyone could, it would be Bjorn, so we're out of luck.
So yeah, you are eventually able to track Otha a little bit ways up the beach, and he's just sort of like waiting for you, and there is just a hole next to him. Like, no pretense, there's just a hole there. And like as you guys are, and he's like kind of like squatting down by it, and as you guys sort of like come up to him like enough to see him, he just kind of jumps in.
Has anyone told Bjorn that Otha is making the holes and making them on purpose?
I don't think they've told anyone.
Yeah. How does the goat keep finding all of these?
He's making them, honey.
He waited for us here. Like, he made this hole to help us get out of here, and he waited for us to make sure we could follow him through the hole.
He's leading us on our journey to destiny.
I am not on journeyful, woman. And he jumps into the hole.
What's
And I go. I go in the
Okay.
hole.
All right, y'all.
I'm
jump
gonna
in the
trust
hole.
fall back into the hole.
So when you fall into the hole, it is different this time. The feeling of being like pulled or dragged through this sort of timelessness, even though you're sort of losing track of time, it feels longer. Like you experience it for long enough to recognize that it is happening for longer than it did has happened before. And it becomes impossible to have any sort of track of time and distance. You all fade away and you're able to register your senses. Um, and when you come to, you just have this feeling of incredible distance. Like you are so out of place and far from home. It is it is hard not to feel it in your heart. Um, but when you sort of come to and are able to sort of wash off that feeling from being the only thing that you can meaningfully experience, you are in another amazingly strange place. It's another sort of passageway, but this time the walls are white, sterile. Um, the floor is this sort of strange gray metal grate. Um, the air it doesn't have the quality of like uh, toxicness or anything like that, but it smells. It's too clean. It has almost like a strange tinge to it of just purity and utter qualitylessness to it. Um, uh, at the end of the hallway that you appear in, you see a great blackness. Um, behind just this like sort of panel in the wall that is at the end of this corridor. And as you sort of your eyes start to adjust, you see that there are pinpricks of light in the blackness.
Like stars.
Very much like stars, but
Not like any stars.
from a perspective that you've never seen them.
I'm gonna approach the panel and look out.
It is difficult to maintain your composure looking into what you're seeing.
Yeah.
Because it is so entirely alien to your perspective.
Mm.
The only thing that is not this infinite sea of darkness and with pinpricks of light is a small, from your perspective, glowing bluish orb.
Can I use grain of truth to recall a bit of urban legend or cultural story that explains, that gives me a clue to further the current story?
Sure.
Like, help me figure out what's going on. I do need a point of momentum. Is
Do it.
everyone okay? Okay.
Do it.
Unless I don't think I roll anything. It just says spend a point of momentum and
Alright.
gain a clue.
You understand that you are looking down upon Gaia.
Huh.
And you are filled with kind of this serene peace as you see it. You know that your journey is nearing an end, and that you are in a place of security, and like it's very unlikely for bad things to happen here. But that you do not belong here.
Hmm. Can we see where Otha has gone?
Um, yeah, give me a survival check. See if you can find goat sign.
Let's see, survival and intellect, maybe, or composure,
Uh,
since I'm getting
yeah,
close to that thing.
probably composure.
Okay. And I will, in the meantime, like share with everyone here that share with my companions about like what I have gleaned from where we are.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
If what we are looking at is Gaia, can I see the sun?
Not from the perspective where you are. Like the thought of orientation is very confusing, but like you can like walk along this corridor and you eventually start to see rays coming through the darkness, and you turn a corner, and there is like it's a panel of a different sort. Like the quality of it is much darker to it, so it's not like you're looking directly onto it. There's like layers of like tinged darkness that allow you to see the sun very distant
Okay.
off in the sea, like hanging in the sea of darkness.
I will go ahead and while they're figuring out what to do, I'll go ahead and make a prayer to my patron and just, what's up?
Do
Hey, with an incredibly slutty amount of Y's after it.
I got 4 successes.
Okay. Yeah, you sort of look around, like this place is so clean and close, so sterile. You find like a little tuft of fur in that strange metal grate, and then like a little another one, a little bit of drool on a wall. So yeah, you start to follow the breadcrumb trail.
All right, yeah,
Um,
Maya definitely will point out like what they're seeing, and I'll just say we don't belong here. We need to get out of here as quickly as we can. So, and I'm seeing like little hints of where Otha probably is. So, let's get the heck out of here.
Okay.
but we will give me an inspiration roll. Just roll your inspiration for me, please.
everyone? Or...
Clement.
Oh.
But yes, you. Yeah. You can add your intuitive facet.
uh,
Out of curiosity, is there an artificial gravity field, or is this? Are we?
Yeah, no, there's an up and a down. Like you
Okay.
like it is it is so much like walking on Earth that you don't even recognize it as
Yeah,
a thing that
we
would be
have
weird.
already established Bjorn is about as smart as a brick. So the rock your world things don't affect him quite as much.
Mm-hmm.
He also has Iron Will 3, so he's very
Yeah.
determined.
Yeah, he's very very determined with that. So yeah, how many successes did you get on that?
I got 2 1s, 2 and a 5.
Okay. Well, that's 2 momentum.
Thanks.
Um, you feel a profound sadness as you recognize you are kind of just rocked by a revelation that whatever it is has nothing to do with your patron in any way.
Okay.
This glowing ball of light out in the sea of darkness, that's not Helio. And it is like a punch to the face. In the sort of the ennui that strikes you with.
Oh, hey, existential crisis going.
But yeah, so you are eventually able to follow the trail of goat leavings.
I imagine Clymene kind of like stops and starts breaking down, and Bjorn is just like, "We do not have time for crying," and picks her up and is like carrying her through the hallways.
Yeah, so you eventually find it, and before you find it, you start to hear other sounds. You eventually start to hear the bleeding, but you also hear like crashing and like smashing sounds. But yeah, so eventually you sort of come around the corner and you see that Otha has been tearing ass in this like room filled with very delicate looking things that you don't understand. And when you all sort of come into the room, he stops and kind of looks at you.
Back at you, buddy. Are we done, Otha?
Can we go home now?
He he just goes and trots out of the room and leads you down a corridor. Um, and eventually, when you see, it's just this sort of like this section of wall that has gone black, and at some indeterminate distance that you can't judge is a firelight.
That's probably our thing to from Lynx to get us home.
Come. We must go home. We must get you food and get you to Mount Olympus so the gods can interact with
Is Clemmy still having like an existential?
you. Bjorn
Okay.
is just carrying her. Like, he has
Okay.
accepted his purpose as uh, human taxi. Um,
Perfect. Yeah, well, I guess let's follow Otha to the light because Otha is heading towards this light as well. You said.
Like
Okay.
as soon as it looks like you guys are gonna head in, he jumps into the darkness.
Great.
hopefully
And
we don't end up splinched.
yeah,
I Star Trek in darkness with him.
once you guys get into light, once again, this is a different sensation. You retain your senses. It just seems as though you are passing through a long, dark corridor, and the light gets closer and closer and closer until you pass through, and are you see Lynx sort of tending the fire as the dawn light starts to come across the horizon. Uh, Utha just kind of like snuggles up to Lynx and gets some scritches. And he says, "You all have the look. A strange journey, I see."
It has been a doozy.
Otha, why?
Ah,
Yeah, I get it. You can't actually talk to us, but can you? Why? I just want to know why you would do this to us.
ah,
Did you mean to do it in the first place?
ah.
Was that a yes bleat? Now that we've had some familiarity with
Give me an empathy roll.
empathy and would it
Uh,
be
Cunning would probably be the best, because you're trying
okay?
to intuit the feelings of a goat.
Uh, that would be 3 successes.
The vibe you get off that bleed is, I don't know, I just work here.
Come.
Great.
We have food to get, rest to get, and more undead to break.
Yeah. Link says we should probably get back on the road. We do not know what dangers are between here and Olympus.
Out of curiosity, did any significant period of time pass in the past? Like, has it obviously been a few hours?
You were in kind of the dead of night when you left,
Mm-hmm.
and it is now dawn.
Okay, so at least a couple of hours has passed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so when Clymene comes to grips with her experience, she's gonna wash the morning makeup off her face and cut her hair and change her clothes to like normal clothes, not grieving clothes.
Okay. All right. So yes, the travel continues on the road. Far more familiar and recognizable dangers assault you as you make your way to Olympus, but you have those fairly well in hand. And yes, you do
Finally,
eventually.
a problem Bjorn can fix.
Yes, far more sword and sandals variety of weirdness comes your path, but you are all stalwart and brave and skilled and are capable of navigating the mysteries and the dangers of this ancient world. You come to the city of city at the foot of Olympus, where the chapter houses of the great colleges are, some of which you are members of, and you all make your way through this world, knowing that Otha will hopefully be tended to and not cause as much trouble in the future. And that is where we're going to end the finale of the Saga of the Goat. Thank you guys so much for playing. I hope you guys had fun with this one. Um, I was like, what do I do for ages? Like, how deep into it do I want to get? I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go real weird with it.
Yeah, that was definitely weird.
But yeah, so thanks. Like I said, thank you guys for playing. Thank you guys all out there for watching. Does anyone have anything they would like to plug or get out into the world as we end the stream?
This is fantastic, and I can't wait to play more of this game. I've never played Trinity Continuum before, and I am definitely into trying to play more now.
Yeah.
Wait, you just played about all of them.
Yeah, this was
Fair enough.
this was kind of the lightning tour of the settings, in from the perspective of ancient people. But yeah. All right. Well, if anyone has nothing has to get out into the world, I will just say once again, thank you for watching. You can find me at Simulacra RPGs. If you'd like to support the channel, patreon.com/Simulacra Studios. You get access to our private Discord where you can chat with me and all of our past and present players, as well as get early access to casting calls for future Simulacra games. All right, Jim, let's pass it along to the next group of adventurers.
All right. I will go ahead and fade us out.